Have you ever participated in a sport or activity where you have experienced unfair treatment such as emotional abuse? If so, keep listening. My name is Sarah Bogdanova, and today I will be discussing a series on the topic of emotional abuse of female athletes that I have been researching throughout this past semester. This is a topic that's important to me because I have been an athlete for over 10 years, and this is an issue that is continuing to happen time and time again to many female athletes across the globe. Through my research, I have gained a better insight on this topic of emotional abuse, and an interview that I conducted with a former teammate who experienced emotional abuse better prepared me for this speech. Within the next 7 to 8 minutes that I have with you today, I will be discussing what emotional abuse is, what it looks like in athletics, specifically in running, how this can lead to eating disorders, and my proposed solution as to how we can stop it once and for all. If you remember in my previous presentations, I described what emotional abuse is. Emotional abuse is seen to be very wide-ranged. It is any behavior that is not physical. Dr. DeSantis stated that it is verbal aggression, intimidation, humiliation, and even belittling of an athlete. These actions, I believe, are personally intended to diminish our self-esteem as athletes and take away our integrity. They're used to make us feel like we aren't powerful, that our voice isn't able to be heard. These actions can also lead to anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts or actions in an athlete. I have seen times where my teammates have felt like they aren't enough, that they aren't good enough, because coaches were constantly telling them that. I have experienced that, and I was even told that pain is only temporary. These are issues that are happening, and they are serious. Not only this, but emotional abuse can also lead to eating disorders. An eating disorder is an illness where someone begins to have disturbances in their thoughts and or emotions. When someone has an eating disorder, they become obsessed with their food and their body weight. And this is where we see this issue in elite athletes. When competing at an elite level, many female athletes are at high risk of experiencing emotional abuse. We are competing against those with similar body types. For example, myself, I'm a middle distance runner. Therefore, I run against tall, skinny, slender girls. If you put me in a 100-meter sprinting race, that girl is going to be very strong, muscular, and lean. We're two completely different people with two completely different diets. So this is where Dr. Lynchine said our diet is key. What we're putting into our bodies and fueling ourselves with to perform is very important. As a female athlete with anemia, which is the loss of red blood cells in the body, I know the importance of fueling my body properly. But this isn't always the case. Nike has had a lot of backlash on the way that they have treated their female athletes throughout this past year. Mary Kane, a former teen running star, spoke up on the alleged physical and emotional abuse that she went through during her time with Nike. In this video that I'm about to show you, she's going to talk about what she experienced and how it affected her performance.
I was the fastest girl in America.
Mary Kane, there are women here almost twice her age, being lifted her weight.
I set many national records, and I was a straight A student. When I was 16, I got a call from Alberto Salazar at Nike. He was the world's most famous track coach, and he told me I was the most talented athlete he'd ever seen. During my freshman year in college, I moved out to train with him and his team full-time at Nike World Headquarters. It was a team of the fastest athletes in the world, and it was a dream come true. I joined Nike because I wanted to be the best female athlete ever. Instead, I was emotionally and physically abused by a system designed by Alberto and endorsed by Nike. This is what happened to me. When I first arrived, an all-male Nike staff became convinced that in order for me to get better, I had to become thinner and thinner and thinner. This Nike team was the top running program in the country. And yet we had no certified sports psychologist, there was no certified nutritionist. It was really just a bunch of people who were Alberto's friends. So when I went to anybody for help, they would always just tell me the same thing, and that was to listen to Alberto. Alberto was constantly trying to get me to lose weight. He created an arbitrary number of 114 pounds, and he would usually weigh me in front of my teammates and publicly shame me if I wasn't hitting weight. He wanted to give me birth control pills and diuretics to lose weight, the latter of which isn't allowed in track and field. I ran terrible during this time, but reached a point where I was on the starting line and I'd lost the race before I started.
Going off of Mary Kane's video, she is not the only female athlete that has experienced emotional abuse. One of my former teammates, Anna Scott, was told that she needed to lose 20 pounds to be able to become faster. Personally, I was told by a coach that I had to lay off Chick-fil-A and drop a couple pounds and get back into shape. Keep in mind, I have been the same exact weight for the past 4 years. There was nothing wrong with me, I was not overweight, and I was not underperforming. It was a number that was set in his head, and if I did not hit that number, I was not going to be considered fast enough. If you have made it this far in this speech, we are one step closer to shedding light on this issue. My proposed solution is very simple. It's 3 steps. Step 1, we must educate ourselves. Continue watching videos, researching, asking questions, and even interviewing those around you. After you have educated yourself, we are better equipped into going out and starting small. Tell your friends, educate them. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just ask them if they know or they have even experienced this issue. Next, after you've told those around you, take a bigger step. Go out into your communities and talk to people who may not know about this issue. Talk to parents, talk to your friends' parents, maybe even talk to a board member. The more we talk and speak up on this issue, the more attention that we can get, the more light we can shed on the emotional abuse that is held in the dark. In conclusion, emotional abuse is a serious issue that many female athletes have to deal with at least once in their athletic careers. Through this speech, I hope to have been able to better educate you on this issue, shown you the seriousness of this topic, and reminded you that your voice is super powerful. If you speak up, hopefully one day we can finally put an end to the mistreatment of many female athletes across the globe. Thank you for listening.